Today we're going to talk about VPNs and two of the more known companies that often appear in the list of top VPNs to go for, NordVPN and Surfshark. Now, recently these companies did merge together. However, they have said that they will maintain separate strategies, separate products, so they will operate separately, at least for the time being. Now, before we dive into these two products, briefly, quickly, and very simply, what a VPN is, or a virtual private network, it's a service that lets you hide or mask your online activity and protect yourself and your identity online. Normally, when you access information online, when you connect to the internet, your data goes from your device, your laptop, your mobile phone, through your ISP or internet service provider to the public internet. What a VPN does is it routes or tunnels your internet traffic through a server, so it acts as an intermediary before it sends it out to the public internet, thus by protecting you and hiding your identity. Now, there are plenty of reasons why you might want to use a VPN. Firstly, just to stay anonymous online. In theory, your ISP or internet service provider can see what you are doing online. In theory as well, so can hackers or even the government. So if you're using a VPN, you're hiding your identity, you're hiding your online behavior from these entities. Another reason is to access geo-restricted content. So there's a lot of content that is only available in certain geographic areas. And if you're connected through a VPN, your traffic appears to be coming from that VPN server. And if that server is in a different country, then you appear to be coming from a different country. This lets you access content that's only available in certain geographic areas. Or if you are in a country with content censorship, you can, in theory, bypass that and access that content. Streaming, for example, is one of those examples where certain content is only available in certain geographic areas. Do make sure to read the terms and conditions of whatever service you're using, just to make sure you're not violating any of them. Now let's take a look at Surfshark and NordVPN, and there's a lot of similarities between the two. In fact, they're mostly very similar with a few key differences. So they both offer a no-logs policy, which is important. They both don't record any of your activity, so they don't keep any logs. They both offer a kill switch, for example, which kills the internet in case you're not connected to the VPN. So if for whatever reason you lose the VPN connection, it cuts off the internet traffic. They also offer split tunneling. So what this does is lets you route only certain applications through the VPN or exclude certain applications, which could be helpful if you don't want a particular application to go through the VPN. Instead of always disconnecting and connecting back, split tunneling would be a better option. Now let's take a look at the apps. The ones I'm going to show you right now are running on macOS. However, both of them are available for most major platforms, so Mac, Windows, Linux, mobile, so iOS, Android, even Fire TV and Android TV. So on the left is NordVPN and on the right is Surfshark. The first notable difference you see when you first open the app is that on NordVPN there's an interactive map which visualizes all the different servers that they have, and you can hover over any particular server to see where it is, so Belgium, Luxembourg, France, Switzerland, and then you can click on it to connect, versus on Surfshark, where it's simply a list of countries. Now you also have the list, of course, over here if you want to go through the list, but I find the map visual representation of these servers a nice thing on NordVPN. Now, one note here on the servers and the countries: NordVPN has over 5,500 servers in 60 countries, whereas Surfshark has around 3,200 servers in 100 countries. So Surfshark has more countries, however, NordVPN has more servers. Now, the importance of more servers is speed, because as we said, when you're connected to a VPN, your data, your traffic is going to the VPN server, out to the internet. The further away physically the VPN server is from you, the larger the distance the data has to travel, and thus the slower the connection speed becomes. So when you have more servers offered, this means there's a higher chance there's a server that is physically located closer to you, and therefore you would potentially have a higher connection speed. And we'll talk about the speed in just a second. Now on NordVPN, there are 3 different presets, as you can see over here: download speed and browsing, which kind of optimizes your server's choice to either download speed or browsing. And then you have the country list over here. I'm going to scroll through the list of countries so you can pause the video if you want to check if a particular country that you are interested in is available with both VPNs. Let me do the same with Surfshark. Another difference that you see, there are multiple servers in certain countries. So for example, Canada, you have Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. France, you have Paris, Marseille, and Bordeaux. And you see them all in the list over here. Whereas on NordVPN, the list only shows you the countries, but you can connect to multiple servers or different cities within the same country, and I'll show you how in a second. US, for example, has a ton of different servers in different cities. So here you can select if you want to connect to Miami or Tampa or Buffalo or New York or whatever in the US, versus on NordVPN, you only see United States, but there's 3 arrows here on the right. So if you click that, then you see the different servers in the different cities, and you can choose whatever city or region you want or whatever server you want, and you see there's plenty of different servers. To be honest, I think I prefer NordVPN's approach again here, because when you click on the country from here, it automatically connects you to the fastest server in that country, versus on Surfshark, you have to select a particular region yourself. It's not a big deal. But I think in most cases, if I'm connecting to a particular country, I don't really care what city or region in that country, so I would rather the VPN service automatically connecting me to the fastest server than me having to select the region. Not a big deal, just a small detail, but I also like that approach on NordVPN. So on the bottom here on NordVPN, there's also a few specialty servers. The first one is dedicated IP, and this is an interesting one. So when you connect to a VPN, you get a new IP address, and this is how you hide yourself in your real location, your IP address. You get the IP address of the server that you are connected to. Now, each time you connect to a server or a different server, you get a new IP address. However, if you want to have an IP address that is dedicated for you, that means you always get the same IP address, no one else uses it. This is what a dedicated IP is. This, however, is not a free thing. You have to pay for the dedicated IP. I think it's about $70 a year, but this gives you one IP address that belongs to you and only you, and no one else uses that. At the time of this review, Surfshark does not offer a dedicated IP address. However, what they do offer is a static IP over here. And the difference between the two is subtle. So a dedicated IP is a static IP in the sense that it does not change. However, with the dedicated IP, it's only used by you, it's not shared. However, with a static IP, although it does not change, it's the same IP address every time you connect to that server, it is shared by multiple people. This could or could not be an issue. So for example, some websites limit the number of users that can access content in a specific time frame. And if you are using a static IP that's shared by many users, you might not be able to access the content if someone else who's using the same IP address accesses that content in a specific time frame. As I said, this may not be an issue, but if you care about having a dedicated IP, at least at the time of this review, only NordVPN offers it. However, if you care about having a static IP, then only Surfshark offers that, and NordVPN does not offer a static IP for free. The next thing in the specialty servers is double VPN, and what this does, as the name indicates, is it connects you to 2 VPN servers for added security. This, of course, has a big impact on speed, so only use it if you need the added layer of security. On NordVPN, you have double VPN. On Surfshark, you have multi-hop, which is essentially the same thing. They have a slightly different approach. So over here on Nord, you click on the 3 dots and you can select which country or server combination you want to connect to. Whereas over here on Surfshark, there's a presets, of course, but then you can also create your own and select your entry location. So for example, let's say Sydney in Australia, and then your exit location is Ireland, for example, and then you connect through these 2 servers. Obfuscated is another specialty server on NordVPN, and what this does is it hides the fact that you're using a VPN server. Sometimes if you're accessing certain content and they detect that you're using a VPN, they block that. So this is where you can use an obfuscated server on NordVPN. Surfshark does not offer an obfuscated server. However, what they do say is all their servers are obfuscated. So in theory, it is the same thing. The other specialty server is Onion over VPN. And what this does, it lets you access the Tor network without using the Tor browser. So normally, if you want to access that, you need to download the Tor browser, and only your activity on that browser goes to the Tor or the Onion network. Whereas over here, all your traffic from any apps that you have open on any browsers go through the Onion network. And then lastly, P2P simply gives you priority on peer-to-peer and download speeds that are enhanced. Now, of course, if you're using the VPN for the security aspect, for the anonymity, to hide your online activity, then the recommendation is to connect to the fastest location, or as I said, a server that is physically closest to you, because this will have the least impact on your speed. Now, if the reason you're using a VPN is simply for anonymity, to hide your online activity for a more secure connection, then the recommendation is to select the fastest location or the nearest country, because as I said, the least impact on the speed will come when you connect to a server that's physically closest to you. So you can use fastest location or nearest country or a quick connect on NordVPN to do that. Otherwise, if you want a particular country, you can scroll through the list and simply click on that country. On Surfshark, it connects rather immediately, and after a bit of time, it shows you the new IP address. So that's the IP address of the server you're connected to, and same on NordVPN. So you can go to, let's say, Spain. It shows you where that is on the map, and within a few seconds you're connected to Spain. And if you click here, you can also see your IP address. Now, in terms of speed, as I said, it's inevitable your speed will be impacted. The question is, how much would it be impacted? And this is one of the things where if you're not using a good quality VPN server, your internet speed will be impacted significantly. Fortunately, both of them are quite fast. I did run a bunch of speed tests on both of them, connecting to different countries around the world. I'll be sharing the results on the screen right now. And of course, the first thing is my internet speed without a VPN connection, just to give you guys a baseline. Now, for the longest time, you would hear that NordVPN has slightly faster servers than Surfshark. This was not the case in the test that I ran, at least. Both of them were quite fast. However, in my tests, I did see that Surfshark was slightly faster, at least in the download speeds, than NordVPN, whereas NordVPN was slightly faster with the upload speeds. I ran multiple tests, as I said, across different regions. Both of them are quite fast. I don't think there's going to be a significant difference in the impact on speed, regardless of which one you choose. So that's it for now in terms of my recommendation of which one to choose between the two. I think both of them are great. You can't go wrong with either of them. They both offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try them out, and if for whatever reason you are not satisfied, you should be able to get your money back within 30 days. You can even try both of them and see which one works best for you. So I really would recommend either or, unless there's a specific feature that you're looking for, like a specific country that's available with Surfshark and not NordVPN, or if you need the dedicated IP, so that missing feature might sway you in one direction or the other. Otherwise, both are great. They both run promotions and discounts regularly. I will put links in the description should you wish to go for that 30-day trial or even purchase. You can check out what the current offers are at that time. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, as this encourages me to continue producing content. Until next time, cheers.